This is James with My Home Electrician, where we believe that success is a symptom of good relationships. Please disregard my former agitation. It's an industry thing. It's lots of fun. As a business owner, there's nothing I enjoy more than using my time for the benefit of the public. I'm here for you, baby. All right, so here's what we got going on. We're fixing all this grounding and bonding stuff in this house. House is being sold. House is already sold. And they ran into a whole bunch of code compliance issues on their home inspection report. Ultimately, you notice how this beautifulness is brick and that is siding. The reason why they're so different isn't because of a design choice. It's because that was an unpermitted addition to this property. When it was unpermitted and the work was done, I think I know why they didn't permit it, because they didn't know what they were doing. So they opted to move the meter base, which is tucked away in this little corner that apparently the city is willing to roll with to eliminate costs, or financial hardship is the phrase that we applied for, because it would be spendy. And yeah, so everything that's been done in here, you'd think, okay, well, at least there's a breaker on it, or at least there's something that is protecting this hodgepodge mess. Oh no, you would be wrong. You would be wrong, good sir or ma'am. Don't get me in trouble with that. I'm not that guy. I'm just a good guy here. All right, so yeah, so basically when they did it all and they added this mess on in all of its glory, they opted to cut all the primary grounding and bonding of the house. Basically the equivalent of jumping out of a plane with your buddy and then he says, hey, I got an idea, and he cuts the parachute off your shoulder before you have a chance to pull it. You're gonna burn in. And in the same way, you're going to burn in on this house. Huge fan of central heating. That might get a little too hot. We don't want to go that way. That's the wrong kind of heating. So yeah, so we basically redid everything, got what is here at least safe. Because the house is being sold, it's not in the cards to go through the whole house and redo all this stuff. It's going to get exorbitant. And the house is already sold. We have all of 9 days before this house is fully closed and done up. And all they wanted to sign off on, both the buyer and the seller, was basically having the beginning of power or branch circuit distribution out of the distribution box. You all know it as the main panel, or maybe fuse box if you're from that era. Yeah. So we're trying to get this all set up so at least where power is being drawn from, it is safe. So that way anything in theory that has been done in this house that is unsafe, if something goes wrong, at least it'll trip a breaker and do what it was intended to do. There was an absolute mess. Not only was the grounding cut, but they were running 2 itty bitty wires and double lugging them, or smashing basically 2 tiny wires into the meter somehow and squishing them together, copper and aluminum. We'll talk about oxidation later. Basically, the thing was next to burning. It was awesome, fantastic. It's already hot enough out here in Texas as it is. Felt temp of 107 today. Why not add some fire and some heat? So yeah, so here's what we ended up with. We got rid of all the double lugging, all the double lug service feeds, all the double lugging that happened in the panel. I'm saying double lugging like it's just common phrase. Sorry. Maybe it's dirty. I don't know. Double lugging. What do you think, Robert? Double lugging, is that a bad phrase? Maybe we'll Urban Dictionary that later. So we got this guy installed. This is a service disconnect. It's magical. It's magical. Has a new main breaker in it, 200 amps to serve what's going on with the 200 amp panel rating on the inside. Because this has overcurrent protection in it, this now becomes my new main panel. Because of that, we're going to fix the grounding and bonding here, and we're going to rerun back to the cold water heater. Yeah, it's been a long day. I wish I would quit dunking a cold pool. Would be nice. Hot water heater to the cold line, which is required by code, or to a underground UFR, but this house is too old for that. Still has solid copper piping and everything's solid, so we did our primary to that. We did our secondary, or our backup, in case that fails, right here. So these cool things down here, these big old ground rods that are ran minimum 6 feet apart is required by code, with a number 6 ran between them. The primary has a number 4. We then ran a number 4 THHN, or stranded wire, green, through this conduit with a 3 sets, or 1 set of 3 3 3/0. We could have derated the neutral. We chose not to. I like it better anyway. Code allows it, but I think that's dumb because the neutral is your return path and it should be sized correctly. So I don't know how engineers work out that math, but my math tells me if I can upsize it for 10 bucks at my cost, why not make it just a little bit better? But yeah, so we're running through all this surface mount conduit and we're pumping back in. The main panel that is now a sub panel is on the other side, this wall, on the other side of this wall on the interior. So yeah, inter-system ground bus. This is not a fancy flip for these wires. This is actually required by code now for all your low voltage internet, cable, TV stuff. All that stuff has to be grounded. So this is required by code now. This little cap pops off and there's little terminals in there for them to tie their equipment to, that's then tied to all the other bonded and grounded equipment. Yeah, I mean, that's about all there was to this job. It's not rocket science. It wasn't anything crazy. You may wonder why we chose to run it in surface pipe instead of running it the clean and pretty way, which is through the attic and back down in a service entry cable. And the reason why is it was going to be cost prohibitive with all the drywall repair, tile repair. There's an added bathroom in here that's fully tiled. And given the situation, this house being sold, this was the best compromise that was code compliant for getting this taken care of. So anyway, I look forward to all the questions, commentary, ridicule, abuse. I hope. I thrive on abuse. Please be abusive. It's a military thing. We can't help ourselves. We're thriving on negative energy. Robert knows it. He's so mean to me. But yeah, that's all I have for you today. This is James Adams with My Home Electrician, where we believe that success is a symptom of good relationships. Have a great day.